Hey YouTube, good morning. It is the 8th of March, and guess what? We have FSDBeta 11.3.1 dropped this morning at 2 a.m. Eastern time, so 11 p.m. Pacific time. And I'm here in Orlando, so I'm not down in Jacksonville where I have my normal unprotected left turn and my normal routes. But Orlando has a lot of scenarios to actually test the single stack. I have not looked at the settings a lot, but I will just go to the autopilot settings here and just look at a few things. I have my driving set to average. My lane change notification is off. I'm just trying to quickly see if we have any other settings in here that need to be looked at. Autopilot is on full self-driving beta. I do have, 5 times. I don't have any strikes. It feels like all my settings are here. I did hear that installing this on some cars, I think it was Zach, who all his settings got changed. So I am not seeing any settings change for me. My profile was already in here. So we're going to give this a quick first drive. This is not going to be a super deep dive analysis, but it is going to be a first look at 11.3.1 with my setup here. Alberto, one of my coworkers, is with me here today. So if you hear him in the background, I'm not by myself in the car. And we are going to take a look at the visualizations, and then we're going to engage. We've got it right now set to go to a supercharger about 15 minutes away, and most of this drive will be on Interstate 528, which is a toll road right near the Orlando International Airport. So the visualizations definitely do look a little bit different. There's some occupancy network there popping in. Once we get out of this parking lot, I am going to engage it once it recages itself. All right, so for the time being, you can see the preconditioning is just because I have a supercharger set in. And there's the first big noticeable difference, is that the projected path is that big wide blue path that we've seen on some of the leaked videos from some of the employees that were putting out some content. So we're going to be taking a left here. We're basically in the old Stack City Streets mode. This has worked well for me before. There's the blinker. Now notice the deceleration in the blue line here and the actual stop line that's being projected. Okay, I do have a car coming from the left. There's my lane network. Hey, it's going for it. That wasn't bad. And it went all the way through it. That was a pretty aggressive turn, but it had a good, consistent jerk acceleration to get into the intersection there. A little bit of indecision there about what lane it wanted to get in. There was nobody around me, so I let it keep going. But it did jerk a little bit there. So what we're doing here is we're taking a left at this light, and then we're taking this clover loop around onto the interstate. So that's where the big transition should happen. This software on previous versions at this intersection has kind of gotten in the wrong lane a few times. So we're going to see if there's any differences there. All right, there's the lane network projecting it over, and that actually looks good so far. And it needs to stay in this left lane and get over. Hey, it nailed that one perfectly. So that felt just right, because now I'm in the correct lane to go straight and into this cloverleaf. I'm really liking this deceleration visualization. Maybe just because it's new. Interesting. Look at that car went through a red light. We had the green, but it waited nicely. All right, let's see how it handles this curve here. Speeds, it's got a ramp speed. They've never noticed ramp speeds for me before. It's kind of doing its deceleration just based on curvature, not on any sort of speed. I can see that the car's decelerating though, which is in the path. All right, and as soon as we get off of this ramp, we're going to be in the new single stack highway mode. Because normally right about coming off of this on-ramp is where it turned to navigate on autopilot previously. All right, and our left lane is clear. So let's see when it wants to jump over, if it's going to stay here. All right, it wants to change lanes. There it is, projecting that lane network. And we are in single stack deceleration in front of us. It did that really well while it was changing lanes. Welcome to single stack, everybody. Here we are, highway mode. And we got our city streets visualizations. It's really interesting how it's projecting this truck. It's making it look really, really long. But there's kind of a horizontal view of this truck that's a beam me. And the truck is not jumping around like sometimes they do when they're right next to you. You might notice I still have an ultrasonic sensor arc there on the screen. This is a 2020 Model Y that does have ultrasonic sensors. It looks like they're still being used just based on those arcs being projected there. Really liking that deceleration. Now one of the things in the release notes that I want to mention now, there's a lot of stuff in the release notes. We all need to digest them quite a bit. But about the NHTSA recall, it did say that an absolute override has been removed. So I have always used a percentage override. But interestingly, my car set itself to 72 with a speed limit of 55. That doesn't make sense to me, because I don't know why it says 72 at the moment. I need to think about what's going on. It's kind of crossing the lane here just because he's a big truck. Now we're in a merge, and the car, what's it going to do? What's it going to do? Okay, this is interesting. It's got a weave here. I'm just going to let it go. Let it go. Okay, now that truck behind me allowed it. That was a little awkward. It wasn't as aggressive as it should have been there. We're in a squeezing lane that had a merge arrow to get over, and it didn't use its blinker. It just sort of was zippering itself in. Okay. We're just merging in. There is no traffic coming from behind, so it's going to see what it's going to stay in this lane. Now it wants to get over. Uh-oh. Did it put itself in a bind here? What's it going to do? I can go straight here. It's got its blinker on. Very interesting. So it's got its blinker on. And we're in this little traffic section here. I don't know if there's a lane up here where I need to be in this other lane. Let's see how aggressive it is at getting over. It's got its blinker on. See if a car lets us get over, if it fights its way or gives up. It kind of gave up there. Oh, here we are. We're in the NHTSA recall lane right here. I cannot turn. The car's letting me go. It did it. It waited and left its blinker on, and a car gave a gap, and it made it. I can't complain against that, other than perhaps getting into a different lane earlier, but it was pretty dense traffic. Interesting. So here we are at this intersection, and we have just about another block or two at this light to get through. When I spin this around, the visualizations have definitely been refined a little bit. We do have a pedestrian kind of walking up on the sidewalk to the right that's being visualized. You can see that there. Obviously, without a radar that's being used, right now you can see this car ghosting in front of the car in front of me a little bit, but it very clearly sees the truck with the height. So see that car kind of going in and out? That car right behind the truck is there, but it is popping in and out on the visualization just a little bit. So this visualization is different in the fact that we no longer have the red drivable space boundaries. I'm noticing we do have the yellow lines, and we have a lot more gray, but the red from city streets on 10.69.25 is gone. So this is another indication of a completely changed stack visualization wise. Even though I'm in city streets mode, it definitely has changed its visualizations here. There's another good example of my ultrasonic sensors working. I'm wondering if I should just jump back on 528 at this intersection and go left there. Does that look like that would work? Can I get on 528 there?
I'm not sure.
Doesn't look like I can.
That's why Cody took you out from it.
I guess I can do a U-turn and go back in that way. I don't really need to go all the way up there. Some occupancy network stuff going on there. What do you think? There and back around would be the easiest way? You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Got a train stop.
Okay.
A couple blocks.
Maybe get where that bus is somehow. Over there. Okay. No U-turns.
I think you can do it on
Yeah.
this one. That's the sun rails. I think you can do that.
Just UE here?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to do something different, but I'm just going to do the UE and force it.
Is it taking you back to the office? Or do you put it
Yeah.
there? Oh, okay.
Yeah. .528. Does it say which one? Left here.
Have to be 528 till you
Left here. All right, we reset the destination just to kind of head back on to Interstate 528. And some of the visualizations I thought were interesting. I was behind this truck just a second ago, and it was projecting his blinker, even though his blinker was not on. So true identification of blinkers, I think, is still a little bit maybe being projected of what it thinks it's going to do versus what it's actually seeing. I have a better profile for this. Here's a pretty good example of it can't see the cars in front of this truck because it doesn't have a radar being used. So vision, while I can see through the windshield of this truck and see there's trucks in front, it still just projects the car in front when it can't see anything else around it. That is a limitation of no radar. All right, so here we are going through a green arrow intersection turn, and it's got its little bit of lane network projection there. Okay, that was a decision to disengage so there was no confusion with the car behind me. And this is the first thing. Look at this. I'm getting my opportunity to answer. Press the voice button. And I didn't get it in time. But that was the first indication of a disengagement with the voice annotation. I didn't get the voice button pressed in time. And when I press the voice now, I disengaged because of it stopping in the intersection with a semi-truck. I don't think that annotation went back. I don't know. That was the first time I've used that. So that was an opposing green left arrow. The truck was making a legal turn. I was making a legal turn, but the car was uncomfortable with the distance that truck was in the intersection. There was plenty of room for me to go by as long as I stayed in my lane, but I just could not allow the car to stop in the middle of an intersection in traffic there. So I disengaged with the accelerator and the steering wheel. Do you agree with that disengagement, Alberto?
Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna stop.
Yeah, I mean, you'll get rear-ended if somebody's,
Yeah.
and people want to get through those lights as quickly as possible in traffic too. All right, so it's now getting itself in a position to get into 528, and it's in the right lane, I think.
No, you're.
I need to get one more over?
I think, yeah. It's telling you actually that the road 528 is correct.
Yeah, so you think it's, okay, it's recognizing it, but now is it going to get itself in a bind? It's in the wrong lane. And there it's telling me changing lanes to follow route, but it's in the wrong lane. And it had an opportunity to get in the correct lane.
Yeah. I think this turns, but it goes straight. And that one turns and gets into the 528.
Look at the car, this truck being projected on top of this car here. Interesting how it's visualizing that. But when you look over there, it's actually a car transport trailer. All right, I've got the blinker on. I'm in a turn lane, but you're saying I'm not in the 1 to 528. I'm disengaging just to get in the right lane. It wasn't going to be that aggressive, so that's why I disengaged. Was in the incorrect lane. So that time I pressed the voice annotation button on time, and I'm using the right blinker to change lanes to get over the easy pass route here. And we're jumping on the interstate with a merge. Now here, this merge is a little bit different than the last one, because the last one we were coming off of a cloverleaf. Now we're in a standard merge that was always horrible on Navigator and Autopilot with the way it handled it. It's got the blinker on. Very slow change, but I can't complain with what it did. It did a little bit slower maybe than I would have. And now we're on 528 for a bit, so we'll just leave this visualization on. So now it's recognizing it's in a lane that's a little slow. Change lanes there with a little bit of a boost up to the speed limit. Now I have changed profile since we changed destinations. I'm now using a different profile that does not have an offset programmed in. So this is maximum right at the speed limit. I can roll it up though. Let's see. There's just a scroll wheel up to 60. How fast will it let me go? There's 65, 70, 75, 85. 85 is still the max, guys. Now, if you notice that the speed limit sign glowed a little bit just then with a little blue outline on it. I believe that's new also. So we're kind of on our way back, and my overall impression is this feels pretty good. I don't think the lane change maneuvers. We saw it get in the wrong lane, or something transformational, but it did a pretty good job. In that one situation, it found itself in the NHTSA recall scenario where it was in a turn lane and it needed to get over. It did a really good job just leaving the blinker on and waiting for a gap. Getting in the correct lane for joining the interstate back there, I'm not really happy with that, but I also don't drive around here a whole lot, so I'm not exactly sure how that would have worked out if I'd have left it in that lane. All right, so now we do have our exit coming up as soon as we pass the airport here, and there's a couple things that over the years I've noticed. There is a no right on red light, and it's at a kind of a funny angle. I believe it's been working pretty accurately recently, but we'll see how it handles the single stack. And should be jumping off right here. And right about here is where it would normally have switched into city streets mode, and it's just seamless. We're staying in the same exact mode here. And there I got another ding because I'm looking at the screen. Those are just pay attention to the roads. You get a few of those before you get a strike. But since the drive is ending here, I'm not too worried about it. All right, we do have a green. Okay, it did turn yellow, so it should stop. Definitely with the NHTSA recall talking about that. And if you can see that, it's a no turn on red. And it says no turn on red with the sign. Now, I should have my blinker on, though. Wouldn't you have your blinker on?
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-oh. It feels like it's trying to go for it. Okay. No right on red intersection. Okay, I'm actually loving this voice annotation for disengagements. That is a feature that I have been wanting to add context a long time to, because a simple snapshot button, which is still up there, and I just pressed it, just doesn't have any context. But being able to attach a voice annotation should be able to give the beta engineers very quick, and I'm getting a honk here, but it shouldn't be a honk because it's a no right on red. So it did try to do right on red there, even though the sign clearly in my eyes said don't do it. But it did stop for the yellow, but it wasn't a yellow it probably could have made anyway. I don't know. So Alberto, we got a few more seconds of driving here. You have 10.69 at 25.2 on your Model Y. What's your impression?
No, it's completely different. It did drive, I think, pretty fine. That not turn on red, they wanted to go. I think that needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
But the rest was good.
I mean, I think the behaviors definitely are stronger.
Yeah.
I feel this is a better build than 69.25.2, and the fact that we're taking it onto the highway, I'm very excited about. Obviously, there's a lot to test here, and I have to disengage just for the way the mapping works here. Hey guys, this is single stack. It's finally here. Hopefully this video clip is not too long for you, and there's things that you probably will see that I didn't. Please leave those in the comments below, and look for some more soon. Have a great day. Hey YouTube, just sitting here in the parking lot, and this park button has shown back up for the first time in a while, and since we're on the single stack, I'm just going to go ahead and let it do it. To do a quick auto park here let's see how it does it. It feels kind of quick. Yeah. It felt a little faster. I don't know. This is the first time I've done auto park in a while because the P has not shown up at all. I think it did that pretty good.
Yeah, it did.
All right.